Welcome to the Tay and Todd Washington Football Team podcast. And yes, Tay is back. We are
Yes,
2-2,
sir.
and I feel like I have missed a lot. We haven't even got the chance to talk about the Giants game we went to, but I'm thrilled to be back.
Mhm.
I'm a married man now. Todd,
Yeah,
how
you're
you
back,
feeling?
but you're not the same. You're back,
I'm
but you're
back, but not the
different.
same.
Show us the hand.
Let's get it right
Okay, all
here,
right.
man.
I
Right
like it.
here.
Welcome, man. It's good to have you. It's good to have you in the wife club. 1-0,
I'm looking for, yeah, 1-0. 1-0.
undefeated,
Undefeated, brother.
and not gonna take any L's.
Nope. No, sir. No, sir. No,
No,
sir.
no 1-1, two. You're never getting below 500.
No, it should not be, right?
No, right, exactly. It's good to have you back, man. I'm doing well. I'm trying to hold down the fort around here. Alex did a great job. I don't know if you caught any of that. You were very busy, but he did a great job. And
Yeah.
then Rio did a great job. Some people, the real ones, I got to reply to people's comments on YouTube. I got to do way better with that. We both do, but we posted a watch back from week 4 that was good, and then I think I don't know how long it was up for, but it got taken down, and then people replied under the QB film breakdown saying, "Man, it sucks I got taken down," or the real ones know. So I appreciate you guys noticing that, and it sucks that it didn't stay up, but I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Finally back in the saddle. We're in Denver, Colorado, and on a train and a glass train, and it was pretty cool. And then got to go to Glenwood Springs and then Moab, Utah, with the Red Rocks and the Arches, and then Salt Lake City. Got to see the Salt Flats, and got to see the game on Sunday against the Falcons, and
Okay, yeah.
barely. So my wife had this idea of wanting to go shopping during the time of the game, and this was really tough on me because obviously we were supposed to love our wives, and
Wives
can you just
first.
imagine me in this red Toyota Camry, whatever it is? I'm driving through Salt Lake City, a place I've never been before, and I have my phone in my hand, running red lights, watching the Washington game versus the Falcons. Um, that was a crazy game. I'm glad we
It
won.
was.
It was
It
a crazy
was.
game, just like me crazy driving through Salt Lake City. So
Everything. Your driving matched the game.
yes, yes, pretty much.
Gotcha. The
Had
red
so many mood
lights.
swings throughout that day. Just like,
Yeah.
oh, excited. Then I'm like, oh my goodness. Then
Right.
excited. Then like, oh my goodness. And then that
Right.
last
Yes.
that last play was just wow. So
Yeah. It's
I'm doing
crazy
good.
because. Okay. Good. Good. That's good. I'm glad you're doing good. If you weren't doing good or well, and we're how the 2 weeks, just over two
Yeah,
weeks in, or
yeah.
almost 2 weeks into your
Almost
marriage,
2 weeks.
I'd be worried. So I'm good to
Yeah,
hear. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. Um, it's weird because it feels like this team can only score in bunches. They
yeah.
scored. They got down 10-0, and then scored back to back, and then they got down again, and then they scored 2 fourth quarter touchdowns. I mean, I don't know. I guess whatever works. I'd prefer if you could just score whenever, but I guess we can just talk about it. As always, check out our sponsors, Hot Chikn Kitchen in Woodbridge, Virginia. I'm gonna be moving down that way some, not quite so technically Woodbridge, but like Lake Ridge, closer to Lorton than Dumfries. But the one advantage of that is I'm gonna be much closer to Hot Chikn Kitchen taste, so I'll
That's
be out
good.
there a lot more. I'm looking forward to that. And then Done Pro Financial, where they can get your credit fixed for you, or you can fix it yourself. They can show you how for a lot less money. So check those out. The links are below. Now, Tate, all right, the Saints this week. I mean, I don't know how much you want to talk about that Falcons game.
I just want to go back because I missed the Giants game. Man, that
Okay,
Giants game
yeah,
was just insane. I just want to before.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys, but
No, you're
the
good.
Giants game. I mean, obviously we went to that game, and that game was
Yep.
just phenomenal, man. That was the
Yeah.
Heineke sensation, and
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. That was a cool experience. All the fans that we met there and saw there, that was awesome. I know we sat on a row with some guy. I forget his name. Forgive me if you're watching, you're listening.
Hey, I started following
Um,
it. Let me find it. Keep going.
yeah, and we just want to say thank you for noticing us. It was awesome, and awesome experience that we got to spend filled with like Alex and Jalen
Brody.
and Rio. What's his name?
Brody. Brody.
Brody.
Brody
Brody. So
Padula. Yep.
shout out to Brody Padula, and it was a pleasure meeting you. And just want to say thank you for noticing us and stopping us and saying what's up. And then that Buffalo game, we just got thrashed, man. That was just That, I mean, it's a young team. We just got thrashed, got a spanking, and then let's touch
Hmm.
on the Falcons game a little bit. A couple things I want to touch on with that Falcons game was the defense is bad, but I feel like in crunch time and close games, they get better. Obviously, the Buffalo
Yeah,
game, we got thrashed throughout the whole game. That first game, they played well considering they gave up 10 or 12,
the
10,
charge. You talking
10
about the
out of
Chargers
12.
game?
Yeah, the
They
Chargers
gave up
game, considering they gave up every third down.
16 out of 20 or something like that.
16 out of 20 third down. So it's just that third downs. Once, and Jack Del Rio said it in his presser together, that once they clean up those third downs, I think they'll be a pretty good defense. But you see, in that fourth quarter, I think about 3 minutes left when the Atlanta had the ball, they could have bent and
Game could
ended
have
the
been
game
over.
with it should have been over, but they got conservative and the defense held down and we
Hmm.
were able to get the ball back. So um, overall synopsis of the game, I think Heineke. I'm still not sold on him. I'm going to give him one more week, and if he can produce this week against the Saints, I think he's going to go crazy against the Chiefs because the Chiefs defense isn't well
It's
at
not good.
all,
It's bad, yeah.
and I predict that to be a high scoring game. If I believe if he can get another momentum, some more momentum against his Saints team, but a couple things I liked about the Falcons game was Heineke, just a gamer. Gibson looks strong. I don't know what's going on there. I would figure he get some more carries, but
He comes out of every game
McKissick,
with the new like ding.
yeah, it's weird. So I guess they're trying to bring him along slowly because I mean, got to look back and last year was really his first year being a running back, getting that many touches. So maybe they're trying to bring him
Right.
along a little bit slowly
Right.
instead of giving him that lunch pail 15 that 20 to 25 carries a game.
Right.
And the O line, I'll just touch on the offense. The O line, Cosme, man, he looks great. He
He
looks like
does.
a stalwart on the offensive line. And I think he's going to be good. I wouldn't say Pro Bowl first year, but man, I mean, the
Hmm.
dude is playing lights out. I don't think he'll get that because he's a rookie, but he's
Right.
low key, maybe our best offensive lineman uh, outside of Flowers on the O line. That's what I think. And then Terry was just awesome. Terry's so good.
I mean,
Curtis
yeah.
Samuel,
Yeah.
4 catches, both all three on third down, and then one on fourth down.
Right.
Hopefully, he can get healthy. But I'm trying to say all this. I'm trying to catch back up from what I
You
missed.
catching
So
up?
just
Yeah.
forgive
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
got it.
but that's all I got for the offense on the Falcons game. I don't know, Todd. What did you see on that?
Yeah. The offense, like the offensive line's given up 4 sacks. Two of them have been in situations where Taylor Heineke should have just thrown the ball away. Weren't even on. They were like bootlegs, so those aren't even on the line. Leno is, I think, the highest. He's highest
Mhm.
or top three in terms of by PFF grade in terms of straight pass blocking sets. Cosme is one of the highest graded run blockers and improving as a pass blocker. And then you had Sheriff, who's out, and I really don't care. Then you have Flowers, who's playing well, except for kind of the fourth and third and one short situations, but who's playing really well physically. Chase Roulier is one of the top rated centers. I think the offensive line's performance has been the biggest surprise of the year for me.
Yes, for
And then we
sure.
didn't expect them to be bad, but we didn't expect them to be like this, for them to be very good. And I think the improvement in the run blocking is really what's surprised and is positive because Antonio Gibson, he seems to be getting 6 yards pretty much every time he gets the ball. He doesn't tend to get much more than 6 yards every time he gets the ball either, but it's forward every time, right? Last year, I remember it was first play of the game of the season against the Eagles was no yards, and then the second play was like -2, something like that. Um, you can definitely see. I think the offensive line is the biggest thing, and I think Taylor Heineke's helping them a lot because of his mobility, but because of his feel for the pocket. So that Falcons game, I think the main thing is this because the offense played really well. As far as I'm concerned, the offense scored 38 points. You don't have two missed PATs. You score 38. You don't go for two. The defense is obviously the problem. If they beat the Falcons the way they beat the Bills, I'm sorry. If they beat the Bills the way they beat the Falcons, or if they beat the Chargers the way they beat the Falcons, you feel good about it because you're going to play
Hmm.
close games in the NFL. You know you are. It is what it is.
Hmm.
It's the fact that you beat a Falcons team that's not very good. That was having trouble scoring and really getting going on offense, and they scored 30. That's what kind of has you coming out of that game feeling like, yes, I'm glad we won, but there's different qualities of wins. Like some wins are higher quality, some wins are lower quality. And to me, this was a win, but it was a lower quality win because if you take this win and try to project what will happen in the future, you say, if you could barely beat the Falcons, how will you be able to beat some of the other teams they play? If I would have told you, Tay, that the offense was averaging over 25 points a game through 4 weeks, what would you say?
I wouldn't believe it. I would not
Okay.
believe it, honestly. I wouldn't. Although I could see it because we have the talent, but it's just hard to believe, honestly.
What if I told you before the season that the defense was averaging giving up 30 points a game?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't believe that.
It's
Definitely
so
wouldn't believe that.
backwards. It's just so. It feels like around here it can always only be one good at a time.
Yeah.
Offense is good, defense is bad. Defense is good, offense is bad. So the Saints game is interesting because it's the worst passing offense they'll have faced to this point this season. Now they are scoring. They're scoring. I got to pull it up exactly. 23, 24 points a game. They're only
Hmm.
allowing 17 points a game on defense, but they are averaging 144 passing yards per game. Uh, Jameis Winston is throwing the ball right around 20 times per game. Alvin Kamara is getting over 20 carries a game. And then Taysom Hill is doing his thing. It's a different Saints offense than what we're used to, Tay. It's not the Drew Brees Saints. And it
Hmm.
feels like they are trying to protect Jameis Winston and really shield him from having chances to throw the interceptions that he can throw.
Hmm.
So you feel like this should be one of those games where you go in and the defense can, if they can defend the run well, which the one positive I'll give the defense is their run defense.
Hmm.
Aside from Daniel Jones going for 95 yards, they've done a good job of containing running backs. Now Kamara is a good back. Defense has been pretty solid against the run. If you can contain Kamara and force Jameis Winston to throw, is Jameis Winston the worst quarterback they've faced so far this season?
Yes.
Herbert, Jones,
Jones is better than
Josh
Winston,
Allen, and
hands down.
I mean Jones has the mobility element.
Jones Jones is good. Yeah, I like Jones. He's
He's playing well
Jones
this
is
year.
good. He's playing really well, really
Yeah.
well. And I want to go back to something real quick before you said that the obviously the two games we lost were the Chargers 3-1, good team. They're looking like a
They
contender
are a good team.
in
They are a
in
good
the
team.
AFC. Buffalo 3-1.
They're a
They're
good team as well.
Super
They
Bowl
have two games
contenders.
in 4 weeks where the other team didn't score.
You see what I'm saying? And we put up 21, but albeit some in garbage time. Now that Giants game and that Falcons game, I'm gonna tell you why they're huge. Yeah, Danny Dimes, who was 4-0 against who was 4-0 against us. That's mentally a hard game that you have to. That's why I believe that's why it was so hard because it's like, okay, you have to break a record. You have to
Yeah.
get over this hump. They beat you four
Right.
straight times. So you have to mentally prepare yourself. It wasn't going to be easy. Then the same with Atlanta. You had Falcons who, Matt Ryan, who was
Matt Ryan's
what,
5-0, I think.
5-0 against. So these are
Yep.
all hurdles, and
Mm-hmm.
although they may be
Yeah.
like, well, we should have beat this sorry team. At the same token, it's like a step that hey, we can break these bad trends,
Yeah.
and I just think that those are huge wins because that builds confidence. Like, all right, I'm sure Ron put that up here. Daniel Jones is 4-0 against us. What are y'all going to do? Yeah, it came down to the wire. Yeah, it came down to a field goal, but we still won the game. Matt Ryan is 5-5. We're 0-5 against Matt. We have never lost. We have never beat Matt Ryan. What are y'all going to do? They come out and they win the game ultimately. So I think that boosts confidence, although it may not be the splashy 28-14 or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. I think sometimes when you get to those hard situations, it's always harder than it's supposed to be easy because like I said, I don't know, like I'm trying to give an example. You give an example in basketball where you say the Washington Wizards have not beat this team in 10 years, like the Spurs. And like each year, it's like the Spurs beat them and beat them and beat them. And then finally, when they finally beat them, it's a very close game. And it's like, oh my goodness. And now the next time they play them, they're able to beat them a little bit more because
Mm-hmm.
they got that confidence. So
I got you.
I just look at the wins and losses differently. And also we're 2-2 right now. We sit at 7 seed, which will be the last wild card spot. And 2-2 is a lot better than 1-3. I don't care
It
I
is.
don't care what you are, I don't care if
Yeah.
you're whatever. So
Agreed.
I'm with how they played and who they played so far. I think it's looking good because look, you got a Saints team coming up, and then you got the Chiefs. Hopefully, you can make it 3-3. But I just wanted to squash that because I'm just like everybody's. I just want to encourage everybody.
Mm,
Those weren't, although they're bad teams. Those are teams that we had a
they're
bad
still
history
hurdles.
against.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're still
yeah,
hurdles. So that's a step in developing this young talent. Is we shouldn't put expectations on them. Yes, we won a division last year. I know you say it all the time. Dak Prescott getting hurt last year was the worst thing that could have happened to us because it
yeah.
blurred our vision as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still a young team, so these Buffaloes games, it's I mean, you can't expect us to come out and I'm privy to that. Just we're going to beat Buffalo, and no, we're just a young
they,
team, and
yeah,
I just love how they fought. So
yeah. I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. The Saints is interesting because that's the team they've kind of always played well. Um,
exactly,
and Jameis Winston, basically, this is the third game in a row where it's one team or the other is getting right. The
yeah,
Bills were off to a slow start. Obviously, they got right. The Falcons were off to a slow start. I mean, they got right. But this is the worst passing offense they'll have faced against the passing defense that's really struggling. So either the Saints passing offense is going to get right, or Washington's pass defense is going to get right, or the Saints are just going to run the game away. Looking back at, and also these Saints games they play always they tend to be wild. I mean, I
yeah,
remember going back
yeah.
to I think '09 when you had the was it Robert Meacham, what Reed
Every
Kareem
Henderson,
Moore got the interception and then Robert Meacham stole it from him and ran and scored the touchdown, and
yeah,
then that may be the same game where Sean Sweezum missed a field goal at the end, and then you have RG3's first year
hmm
and beating the Saints in the dome week 1, and then you have the Kirk Cousins game where they came back. They were up 28-16 or something. They were up a
hmm
lot in the fourth quarter. The Saints came back, and then you had the Alex Smith game where Drew Brees broke the record and they put the
Oh
game
my
on pause for
goodness,
10 minutes.
oh my
So
goodness.
there's always something with these Saints games in Washington. But this Saints team is different. Uh, a few things about them. For one, they're dealing with a number of injuries. Mike Thomas is not playing, among other players. Their offensive line is not is a question mark. Their defensive line is a question mark. Cameron Jordan is like, from what I hear, off to a slow start this season. Their wide receiver core is young and is not exactly in sync with Jameis Winston. It's Jameis Winston's first year starting there. There's a lot of moving parts, and Alvin Kamara is not getting the number of touches he usually gets in the passing game, at least. So I don't think we know if this Saints team is really that good or not. And then they've been up and down. They crushed the Packers week 1. They got
hmm
crushed by the Panthers week 2. They beat the Patriots. But looking into that some, they had a Mac Jones, that was his first 3 interception game. They had some scores defensively, special teams, and then got some good field position. And then the Giants they got beat by in overtime.
At home,
So I don't know what to expect from this Saints game. I know I don't feel the way I did a couple weeks ago, but getting to 3-2 would be huge here because after the Saints, you got the Chiefs and the Packers. And sure, anything is possible, but I tell you what, I might be more scared of Tyreek Hill than Patrick Mahomes. So you go Chiefs, Packers, Broncos. If you can get to 3-2 here and go 1-2 in your next 3, you get to 4-4. I'm fine with that. But this Saints game is a big one. It's not quite as must win as the Falcons game, but it's a big one, and I'm very curious to see how the defense. For me, the question will be this: the third down issue is a compounding problem. They face the most third downs in the NFL. They've allowed the most first downs, and they face the most because they've allowed the most. And the reason that they're allowing so many third downs, especially third and medium to third and long, is because there's a problem with their pass rush and with their coverage, and those two items are not in sync. And so because of that, they perform well on first down. They're one of the best teams in first down. And then they get to 3rd and 7 to 3rd and 15, and suddenly they can't get after the quarterback or the coverage can't hold up, and then that's how they're allowing all those third downs. And I don't know the exact numbers, but I imagine that so many of these third downs are being given through the air. You're playing a passing offense that is struggling. Now they're converting third downs. Well, 6 bets the Saints are on converting third downs, but their passing offense is struggling. If you give them a lot of third down opportunities where they have to throw the ball, what should happen?
picks. I think.
I mean, it's Jameis. It is Jameis Winston. He's going to throw them at some point, and that's the other issue. Tay, they haven't gotten a turnover since week 1.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're right about Jameis. I mean, you look at that first game; they won 38-3. He only had 148 passing yards.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Week two, 111 passing yards. Week 3, 128, and then obviously this past week was as high with 226. So I just think you have. I think this is the game where the defense can rebound because you're going against a quarterback who takes a lot of sacks, usually in his past, who turns the ball over a lot, and the offense they have no receivers. Like
No, they
literally,
don't.
like they have no receivers. Like it's no way that we should not. Honestly, this is a game that you'd be like, okay, Heineke goes crazy. Washington wins like 35-7. This could be one of those games because I just think the defense, this is a game that you can kind of lick your chops at and like, all right,
Yeah.
he's gonna give us some picks. Now they just have to perform, and I hope Jack Del Rio has these guys ready to roll
Right.
because this is a game, like you said, it's very important because, like you said, we got Chiefs, Green Bay, Broncos, and we need to go at least 1-2 in those games, and we need to at least be hovering about around 500 before we get to
500.
those last five games
Yeah,
against
yeah.
the division
The
games.
division, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I guess just some stats on the Saints just outlined. So they're scoring 23 and a half points per game. Defensively, they're allowing 17.3. So this is a better defense that they'll face than the Falcons. But again, their pass rush is not it's not very good right now. I don't think they have a lot of talent on their defensive line, and the best player they have in Cameron Jordan is not having a strong start to the season. They've given up. I mean, not they've given up. They have 6 sacks on the season. The offensive line has allowed 7 sacks on the season. They're averaging 144 passing yards per game, giving up 283 per game. So there are some yards to be had against their pass defense. Their strength in offense is clearly in the rushing game. 132 yards per game. That's fifth or sixth or so, top 10 in the league. And then I mean, it's kind of working because they're really not turning over the ball much.
Yeah,
Jameis Winston only has 2 interceptions on the year. If I'm not mistaken, two of those came in the same game, or those 2 interceptions came in the same game. Let me see, against the Giants. Yeah, yeah, they came against that loss to the Panthers, 26-7, and they are sixth best in the NFL on third down. That Panthers game, they went 2 for 11.
mm,
Right, so you kind of see the formula, and then also in that
hmm
Panthers game, Alvin Kamara had 8 carries. He's had 20 or more every game, and averaged over 4 yards a carry. Against the Panthers, he had 8 carries for 5 yards.
mm.
So it's really for me. I mean, now maybe they'll look at this Washington defense. Sean Payton is still an offensive, mastermind guru. Maybe
Yes,
they'll
he
look at this
is.
Washington defense and they'll say, "Hey, we can throw the ball," but teams tend to like to stick to what their identity is or what they want their identity to be. And this year they want their identity to be a run first team. So I would think that the Saints will come out and want to get Kamara going on the ground. So that's the first thing you have to stop. And then from there, we'll be able to find out, is their passing offense, do they not do it because they don't want to, or do they not do it because they can't? The other big, huge thing on defense, and players like this tend to really give this defense problems. Taysom Hill.
Hmm
I have nightmares of Landon Collins being all the way over there while Taysom Hill is all the way over here because he bit on some fake, or Taysom Hill just lowering his shoulder and just absolutely destroying, Bobby McCain. And my big concern this week, John Bostic is out on IR. Now, you never hope for a player to get injured. You never want to be happy when a player gets injured. Hope he has a safe, a fast recovery. However, it's good that Jamin Davis will get more opportunities. Cole Holcomb is also on the injury report. And while these linebackers are obviously a weakness, I have concerns about facing a team that is very good at running the ball because that's the one area where they haven't been as much of a weakness, these linebackers. And going into this game with Jamin Davis and with Khaleke Hudson,
Hudson.
or right, Hudson's not a big guy. He's not an every down, you know, uh, take on offensive guards linebacker. And that's what concerns me this week is that they've been strong against the run, but Bostic out. If Holcomb also doesn't play, I have concerns about their ability to defend the run. And if they can't stop Kamara, then I don't think the passing game or the coverage will matter.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. I think that Boston. I think that's a blessing in disguise. Um,
He is playing terribly. So I
he's
don't see how
yeah,
it could get much worse.
yeah, same. And I think Hudson, like you said, he's a little soft against the run because he's smaller. I think Jamin and Hudson can take over. This is going to be their chance right here to take over that linebacker spot. I hope to see Landon Collins down in the box some with Cole Holcomb being hurt, and with Bostic being hurt, and some Cam Curl down there as well. But this is an opportunity I see where if they do want to go passing, this can be a benefit for next week as well. If Hudson looks good, if Jamin looks good against these guys right here, because the Chiefs next week, the
Chiefs are
Chiefs
gonna
aren't.
throw the ball.
They're going to throw the football. They're going to try to play mind games and stuff like that. But if you can see some,
Yeah,
it's going to get ugly quick.
we
But
probably should. Let's not even talk about that. Let's just
yeah, but
let's just focus on the Saints.
yeah, Taysom Hill, I'm scared of. Against the Giants
Yeah,
last week, he had 6 carries for 28 yards and two
two
touchdowns. One where
touchdowns
he
in
just
the red
trucked
zone,
somebody.
especially. Yeah,
Oh
in the
my
red zone, especially.
goodness.
That person that he trucked was Landon Collins this week.
Replacement. Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
I'm not trying to go on the guy. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
and then you take into account that the opposing team's star player doesn't have to go off on this defense for someone to go off. Cordero
exactly.
Patterson had 3 touchdowns. He had a career game. Dogged Kendall Fuller, Bobby McCain left him wide open. So to me, this like again, Cordero Patterson. We were talking about it all week, Tay, in the group chat, not on here. We were talking
Yeah,
about Cordero
yeah.
Patterson being a problem for this defense.
Hmm.
Our guy Alex picked him up and started him in fantasy. That was
Hmm.
a great call. If
Yeah,
Taysom Hill wasn't a quarterback, if I could put him in my flex, I'd start him this week
yeah, absolutely.
because I don't. He's gonna. I don't know that this defense can defend him.
Yeah, I thought about starting Jameis this week. That's how it's
I
been.
thought about starting Jameis too. I don't know. I have Josh Allen, so it'd be a risk. It'd
Yeah,
be a bold move, but
yeah, but yeah,
it's frustrating not knowing what to expect from the defense. And the first couple weeks it was like, okay, they can fix it. To me now, fixing it is becoming 20th overall. I think any
yeah,
talk of them being a top 10 defense this year is I know it's only week 4, but that level of turnaround and the amount of turnaround you would need to undo what you've done through the first 4 weeks, they'd have to go from being whatever they are now to being top 10 for the rest of the season to finish like 10th. You know what I mean?
yeah. But then again, I just think you have to be careful. I just think
I mean, it's a
they're
long
hovering.
season for sure.
It's a long season, and you know how
It really
Ron is
is.
in that what January. What's his record like going as we get closer
Yeah,
in the winter?
he is a slow start, strong finish in every way.
Uh,
Season,
oh my
game, everything.
goodness.
So
So I
look,
just think I don't know. I want to point out a couple things against the New Orleans defense at home last week against the Giants. Daniel Jones 28-40, 402 yards, two touchdowns, interception.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my goodness. Kenny Galladay 6 for 116. Tony 6 for 78. Ross 3 for 77. Barkley 5 for 74. This can be a game where you're looking at Terry maybe getting 200.
You think that Marshawn Lattimore is going to be all over him?
Yeah, but yeah, probably so because we're a little dinged up at receiver.
That's where I was
So
going to go. I mean, Cam Sims, De'Ami Brown, and Curtis Samuel all might not play.
yeah, that's gonna be
So that leaves you DeAndre Carter, Dax Milne, Adam Humphries, and then do they
Kelvin
call him
Harmon.
Harmon or AGG?
Oh yeah, I forgot we got AGG. Oh, I would love to see AGG. I would love to see AGG get a chance against his secondary.
Yeah, I mean, I
You
guess
never
their
know,
number
man.
two, their backup cornerback is hurt, so their number 2 is not as strong.
Yeah,
But then you're missing Logan Thomas too, and
I'm not worried about that. I don't think that's a big. I don't think that's with the way Ricky Seals has played.
yeah. Ricky Seals, I want to see him make the tough catches. I want to see him
Yeah,
make the go over the guy. I mean, he did it
right.
against the Giants. I need to
Yeah,
see him do it again because he missed a couple opportunities this week. But this is where I always stand with Taylor Heineke, and that as it pertains to his passing game, wide receivers being out, whatnot. If he's given time, he'll figure something out.
yes he
Like
will.
if he has time, he can get through his progressions, and if he gets through his progressions and nothing is there, then he can escape. and either make a play with his arm off schedule or run. And so the main thing that gives me confidence for the Washington offense against the Saints defense, regardless of injuries and all that, is the fact that the Saints pass rush is not strong and that Washington's offensive line is playing well, pass blocking and run blocking. So playing well. Because if
You know
Taylor
my
Heineke
favorite
has time
play.
back there, he'll figure something out.
Yes, and I'm gonna allude to that. My favorite play of the game was when he hit DeAndre Carter
That
coming
was
up.
beautiful,
Oh
man.
my
Yeah, across the middle,
goodness.
and he couldn't even step into that throw. And he, I
He
mean,
couldn't. Oh
he
my goodness.
you can his head coach from college, from what you talked about, and I know that head coaches always talk up their players, but some head coaches talk up their players and say he's a great guy, he works hard, right? But what he said was Taylor Heineke was the only 5 read quarterback he's coached. That most
Mm,
guys in college are 3 read guys, and Taylor's the only 5 read guy. And I know you know what that means, but for anyone who may not, when he says that, he's talking about progressions in the passing game, being able to
yeah.
get through. If you have 5 receivers, not even just 5 receivers, 5 options, including the running back, however you split it up, all 5 of them are a read. Obviously, the play is designed to go to one or typically, and then one, two, three, but typically you're not getting to 5. J.D. McKissick was his 5th read against on that touchdown, that game-winning touchdown. That's a different, like, again, it's his head coach. I know he's going to praise him. That's a different kind of praise. It's more specific and more technical. And so that's why you see Taylor Heineke, he knows the offense, and if he has time, he can get through his progressions. And he'll have a late throw here or there. He'll have a missed
Hmm.
opportunity here or there. But if he has time, he'll have a lot more on-time, accurate throws. And one thing that Scott Turner did really well against the Saints was he had him run a lot of stuff off of play action, and
Falcons.
it worked. A lot of shotgun play action. So
The Falcons, right?
against the Falcons, yeah,
Yeah. You
a
said
lot of
Saints.
that. Oh yeah, sorry, against the Falcons. Yes, last week
I'm about to
against
say
the
you predicting
Falcons.
the future. Ooh, okay, we're
I
going
mean,
good
it
away.
worked last week. So I want to see him continue to do that because I think Heineke does really well on that. It kind of can it can settle down the timing a lot, and obviously the defense has to some level respect the run, and so it'll open up some throwing windows. They did against the Falcons, and I mean they've scored 30 points twice in 3 weeks, which they haven't done in a while here since 2017, I think,
Mm,
which is so terrible.
yeah.
So, it, like they absolutely this is a winnable game. Like this is, in my opinion, a team they can match up with against. I think you don't need the defense to suddenly become great. You need the defense to do enough this week. You need them to literally just get the stops they need to get so that the offense can. I mean, it's not crazy to think the offense can score 21, 24. That's not a lot, and that's not bad. So the defense simply needs to really give up less than 30 in the low 20s, which is not great, and it's not bad. We just need the defense to step up to some level.
Okay, my question is this then. The offense is good, right? You said the offense is good.
The offense is good. I want to. I need to. I want to see how. Yes, 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 yes. The offense is good.
Okay, so say if the defense does get middle of the pack, what is that? Does that change your prediction for the season of wins? I know you predict eight, 7. I mean,
It would
8 wins,
probably.
7 wins.
I predicted 8 or 9. I think my last one was 9.
Hmm.
Uh, it would keep me there and stop me from going down because
Yeah.
because right now when you look at the schedule, it's tough to find those 9 wins based on the
So
way
what
the
if
defense is playing.
they're 5-5 or 5-6 or 6-5 headed into that last stretch of division games?
They would
What
be
do
to
you
be 12 games, so they'd be 5-7, 6-6, 6-5,
six and
six
six? So let's
seven
say
and five.
six and
Sorry,
six,
six
six
and
and six.
six.
What do you and the defense is playing middle of the pack and they beat some teams. Say they beat the Chiefs team and they
Yeah.
lose to the Broncos and they beat the Packers team and lose to the Seahawks. Going to that stretch of 5 games, what do you think would be the record if the defense is
Uh,
playing middle of the pack
the
and the offense continues to play
offense
as
continues
high?
to play well. Um, I would say at least 3-2.
Yeah.
I would say at least 3-2. The Cowboys. We'll see where the Cowboys are at then. Obviously, right now they're on fire. But if the defense again is just middle of the pack, a middle of the pack defense is all you need with a very good offense.
Hmm.
I mean, and you're often not gonna get a top offense and a top defense. But if you have a top offense with a bad defense, also it's going to give you problems. So all you need is the middle of the pack, and your offense can
Right.
score, high 20s a game. So yeah, I would say at least 3-2, 4-1, because I don't know what the Eagles will be by then, but I still think that they are they. I don't think that they will be very good this year over the course of the season. The Giants, I mean, same thing. They're similar to Washington, and then the Cowboys. We'll see. They're playing well right now.
Yeah, really well.
So I would say at least 3-2 in those last 5 games, and
Okay.
that's. I mean,
Yeah, I just think that if the defense can play well, I don't know. This week is huge. This Saints game is huge in so many ways because yeah, it's huge. It's very huge.
they got
So
to have one good third down defense game this season, right? Like they have to have one.
I mean that flag on Chase was just come on, man.
I can't even. That was so. There was so many. There were so many issues with the officiating in that game,
Oh
much
my
more than
goodness.
normal. Yeah, that was not a penalty. He did not. He didn't make contact with his head or even with his neck. He didn't. So
And then I
that was
guarantee you on that fumble that we recovered, I guarantee
that
you if
was
that was us, they would have
yeah
called it a fumble.
yeah. That's the other one. The three that really stuck out to me were the obviously the Chase Young. That should not have been a flag. Even if he got his neck or under his face mask, it shouldn't have been a flag because the rule is forcible contact. And that wasn't forcible contact because Matt Ryan didn't even go down from that. The second one was the fumble where I didn't hear a whistle. So regardless of forward progress, I didn't hear a whistle. But if there was a whistle blown, it was still too early because if you were to go back and watch that play and blow the whistle when the refs would have had to blow it to stop the play because of forward progress having stopped, it's still too fast.
Hmm.
Forward progress has to have stopped for several yards before you blow the whistle because when it happened, he still could have maybe gotten off of those tackles and gotten the field. So I didn't hear a
Yeah.
whistle. That was the second one. The third one was on the touchdown to Terry McLaurin, the just YOLO ball. They didn't throw a flag for pass interference, and it didn't matter, but it was pass interference, and
Hmm.
the ref was right there and didn't throw a flag. Hopefully, you don't have that issue this week because like it's losing because your team lost, okay, and you don't want to leave it up to the refs, but multiple calls like that, I mean, that's ridiculous. That's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Which makes me want to look at the penalties for the Saints real quick. See how they're doing in that regard. So do you have a prediction?
Yeah, I'm gonna go and say Heineke, he does a great. He, I think he duplicates what he did last week. Obviously, with not with the yellow pass, but in the pass to McKissick, I think he'll be more efficient. I think you'll see a more complete game out of all three phases of special teams,
Okay.
defense, and
Okay.
offense. I think they get a
I'm
convincing
optimistic.
win this week.
You convincing win?
I think so. Yeah.
More than one score?
Yeah, I think we finally get that. I think a comfortable win this week, maybe by 14, 10, 10, 10 plus.
So what would be your final score?
I'm gonna go, assuming the defense gets back on foot, um, and they're on the road. Saints are on the road. I'm gonna go 24-10.
24-10. Ooh. Man, that would be a real bounce back game for the defense. That'd be a real bounce back. They would need that, especially going to the Chiefs.
Yeah,
Let me look at something real quick. These Saints, they beat the Packers at home or in Green Bay. Let me see. Um. Oh no, they were in a neutral. Yeah.
yeah, neutral field. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um. Let's see. I do think that Jameis Winston is the worst quarterback they faced this season because, like, he can obviously light it up, but he doesn't have the mobility that Daniel Jones has. He's not the player Josh Allen or Justin Herbert are. And Matt Ryan is old, yeah, but like he's been an MVP level player in his career.
Mhm.
So, man, it's tough.
You know
I
how they
think
do
I'm gonna.
against bad quarterbacks.
What'd you say?
You know how they do against bad quarterbacks.
You mean this defense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they have all their success. um, They scored 20. They scored 20 against the Giants. Let me look back real quick. So they scored 38 against the Packers, but then they scored 7, 21 offensively, and 21 offensively. Defense has given up 29, 43, and 30. I okay. I'm gonna go with the Saints scoring 23. I'll go 20, 24, 23 Washington. Another close win.
Mm.
Yeah. I feel like in a weird way. I mean, I don't know how to like the defense needs to step up. So like the game is on the defense, but I feel like I guess what I'm saying is I think the game towards the end will be put on the back of the offense. Something like that.
I hope not. I hope it's the other way around for the first
Yeah, I
time.
mean, yeah, it would just be nice for them to be able to get up on a team. They've gotten down in every game this year. They've given up a scoring drive in the first drive every game. Last week they advanced to only giving up a field goal. Hopefully this week they can advance to a 3-and-out, or maybe not even 3-and-out, just advance to giving up nothing on the first drive. Also, the Saints have had some kicking problems. There were 2 missed kicks against the Patriots.
Mm.
Washington obviously has kicking problems too.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you get this win, you get to 3-2, and then you go against the Chiefs, and we're not going to talk about that now. But look, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Okay, you go against the Packers and the Broncos, and it's just basically among those through those 3 games. If you can go 1-2 and get to 4-4, and then I think you go. Do you go into your bye, right?
Hmm.
So you go into
Yep.
your bye at 4-4. I think you feel good.
Yeah.
I think you
Real
feel
good.
good at 4-4. Come back out against the Bucks, the Panthers, the Seahawks, the Raiders. And then again, if you can go 2-2, it just I mean, I don't know. We'll see, but it's good to have you back, Tay.
Yeah. It's good to be back, man, and I'm excited. Hopefully, we can get this New Orleans game. This New Orleans game is huge, man. So
It is. It is. It's not a must win, but it's a really it's like a real it'll help a lot if you win. Make things a lot
yeah,
easier. And man, I would just love to see this defense
man, if
have
they
a
can get
have
New
a good one.
Orleans and then get Kansas City, that would be
Yeah.
insane.
Now they beat Kansas City. That'd be crazy. I don't know how that
I
would
don't know how
really
that happened.
bewilder me. I don't really understand how
Yeah,
that'd be
but Philly, I
possible.
mean, Philly was,
Philly
I mean,
plays
hanging
Philly
in there
plays in teams tight, man. I feel like Philly always plays good teams tight, man.
always.
Yeah. But then Tyreek Hill just started. All right. Anyway, you got anything else to add?
No, that's it. Let's just get this win. Hopefully, we can pull it out. It's on CBS this week. So,
Yeah, I'm more of a Fox guy myself, but
me too. I think
I
we're
feel
0
like we
2
don't
on
have a lot of
CBS.
success on CBS.
Yeah, besides the Bengals game last year, which started it all.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was the most boring game.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we'll talk. We'll do a post game podcast this week. Sorry, it's just been crazy. Tay,
Yeah.
I was out of town. Tay got married. I'm trying to buy a house. It's been crazy. We'll get
Yeah.
settled here for the second half of the season, hopefully with Washington. As always, this is Todd.
This is Tay.